Internet, hello you lovelies. It is official. Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU, but he is back in a way that none of us could have expected. He is not back as Iron Man. He is not back as Tony Stark. He is not even back as a Tony Stark variant. He has been cast as Victor Von Doom. Now this...
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
New mask. Same task. What did I tell you? I like playing complicated characters.
Happened at Hall H this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, and I want to talk all about it because this is unprecedented. Now, if you're new to this page, I do comic book news and comic book reviews, as well as movie news and movie reviews, so please hit that subscription bell. There are over 4,000 new folks on this page thanks to Deadpool and Wolverine, and I want to keep that growing. But first of all, I want to thank each and every one of you. I wanted to hit 30K by Deadpool Day, and we hit it on Deadpool Day, and I'm so appreciative. Now we're approaching 32K, and that was my big goal of this month. I really wanted to pass my Twitter following so I could spend more time here instead of on that hell site. So welcome and thank you. Now let's talk about Robert Downey Jr. being back, but as Dr. Doom. Now this was my immediate reaction. I was actually on stage the moment Hall H was happening, so I didn't get to see this in real time. This is what I thought coming right off stage. No. That's insane. I cannot believe they're doing the thing. Oh, evil Downey Iron Man, corporate monster extraordinaire, Latverian Stark. I have so many thoughts and all of them are conflicting and that's what they want me to feel. Damn it. He shouldn't come back, but he is back. But I hate it, but I love it. Yes, no. Doom. Doom. Now, as you can see, and I was torn then, and I'm torn now. I will talk about my opinion at the end of this video because I have some conflicting feelings all about it, just as I did there. But I do want to address how people are perceiving this announcement. A lot of people are very excited, and I'm very excited for them. I'm personally not in the blind excitement camp because a lot of people think that there is a comic book precedent to this. A lot of people are like, what about Infamous Iron Man? What about Superior Iron Man? What about that very obscure What If issue, Demon in an Armor? Those are all things that exist, sure. But those are all moments where Tony Stark became Iron Man. This is an actor who was cast and iconically portrayed one of the leads playing a completely different character. And I don't think we've had that yet. We've had it multiversally, where we had Johnny Storm in the old Fox movies, and then 15 years later came back and recast as Captain America. We've even had Ryan Reynolds cast as Hannibal King in a different universe, then come back as Deadpool. We've had those things, but we haven't had a lead cast in a role and then cast as another leading role in this universe. Now, before we get to all those conflicts, and I'm sure there are examples like Benedict Cumberbatch who played Dormammu, but that was more of a conversation about id and ego and man versus self and all those things, plus Dormammu was CGI. There are examples that are exceptions, but there aren't leads. So let's talk about the comic book precedent that people think is out there. And the one that I see most of all is this What If issue, Demon in an Armor. Now, the actual official synopsis for Demon in an Armor is, and I quote, "Would Tony Stark still be Iron Man if he wasn't Tony Stark? 20 years ago, in a college experiment gone bad, the young Stark's mind is transferred to the body of impoverished but brilliant fellow student Victor Von Doom. Blamed for the unsanctioned research, his memory wiped clean, Tony is deported and forced to live as a disgraced Latverian commoner. Meanwhile, Von Doom grows and flourishes in the wealth and privilege of being the sole heir to Stark Industries. Thus, in separate cauldrons in different sides of the world, both Iron Man and Dr. Doom are forged anew. But who are the men inside the armors really? Find out what if Tony Stark had become Dr. Doom." Nolan, who was around a lot in this era of What If, but my issue is that's a body swap thing. We don't have a Doom. My other issue is when you look at Robert Downey Jr., you're not going to see there's a guy body swapped. You're going to see Tony Stark. Also, I'm not sure how many people are invested in the Tony Stark of Earth 11092 or whatever it was. I didn't write it down, but I remember reading this and it was a fun what if. That is not the basis of an entire movie structure. Body swap stuff's not going to work. And none of that's even relevant to the conversation. So when people bring it up, I don't understand because he's not been cast as a variant. He has literally been cast as Doom. So this issue isn't what they'll be basing it off of, as much as I've heard that rumor. Now, the other rumor I've heard a lot about is, what about with Infamous Iron Man? Infamous Iron Man, I adore. I love this run. I actually like it more than Superior Spider-Man, which is clearly based off of. In brief, Superior Spider-Man is Doc Ock in the body of Spider-Man, and they basically switch minds and basically in Peter Parker's brain, Doc Ock has taken over, and he's living as Spider-Man, and he's saying dolt and imbecile, and he's kind of a prick, but he's getting things done in a way Spider-Man never had. I didn't like Superior Spider-Man all that much because it lasted too long. It felt like a what if. It didn't really feel like Spider-Man to me. But what did work was Infamous Iron Man, which is actually taking place after Civil War II. So the first time we see this taking the characters in Civil War II, where Tony Stark is very, very injured and basically can't keep up the mantle of Iron Man, and Doom takes over the mantle, and it's an iron suit. It's something he knows well, and something that actually turns into an ongoing title. It is written by Brian Michael Bendis. It is illustrated by Alex Maleev. It is absolutely gorgeous. But once again, this isn't someone that looks like Robert Downey Jr. / Tony Stark. This is someone that looks like Doom in the Iron Man suit. So the exact opposite of what's happening in the MCU. And it looks a lot like Vincent Cassel from Ocean's 12, which is very funny. But Alex Maleev's art is stunning, but it's very clearly the dictator, the insane person that is Victor, wielding different power and finding some different morals in there. And it's a hero's journey from villainy. That is not going to be what this movie is. This is Downey playing Doom. I don't know how that's going to work, but I do recommend you read Infamous Iron Man and Civil War II. Both of those are interesting precedents for kind of a variation of this concept. It's not even what they're doing, but it is a good comic. So check out Infamous Iron Man. And if you hear people say, like, there's a comic of it, this is not what they're doing with this story. The other precedent, because I really am trying to find a way that this makes sense as far as canonically in comic books or something where it works. There is another what if, there's another Elseworld if we're going at that concept, and it's another one where Tony Stark becomes Doom. Not Doom becomes Tony Stark, but again, this is the body of Downey Jr.'s Iron Man if they're going that way, and he becomes Iron Maniac. And what happens here is Tony Stark and Reed Richards become diametrically opposed, and in a fight, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, fries his face. So Tony Stark's face is the one that gets scarred, and he becomes Doom-like and forms this idea of Iron Maniac, and he's a lot more Doom-like. He actually kills a lot of people, and it's very much like an Iron Doom. That's another one people are suggesting. The one that I've heard no one suggest that I also don't think they're doing, but I think has some really cool imagery, is this cover of Exiles number 23. Now, Exiles story is very much like What Ifs. It's a multiversal story. The Exiles are different mutants from different multiverses, and you can play with a lot of what if elements because you're playing with the multiverse. You're playing with characters in other ways. So this issue of Exiles features on Earth 42777, Tony Stark monopolized the world economy, then started a mutant war between humans and mutants. Thinning out the superhuman population, he then killed Magneto and afterward Doom. No one was left to undermine his authority, and through his manipulations, he becomes monarch of Earth for life. But again, he's not Iron Man as Doom, he's just Doom. So I'm wondering how, and I should say now that I'm going to get to my opinion, those are the comics that people are talking about that aren't what they're adapting. Of them, my favorite is the Infamous Iron Man run, but again, this won't really help you prepare as much as I'd like it to. I like making videos of like, read this to understand this. There isn't that. So that's what this conversation I want to have is. Personally, I don't love this announcement. Personally, I do trust the Russo brothers, and personally, I do trust Marcus and McFeely. I know McFeely's back. I'm not sure if Marcus is. They were the guys that wrote, Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. Like, they're geniuses of this world. So they're also very good as far as making things that didn't work in the comics work better. They're good at manipulating comic lore. But something brand new by having such a tentpole casting decision, I'm curious. Now, one thing working in this favor is the Russo brothers are so good at heel turns. They're so good at playing against type. Community always has those like elements of like, let's do this way. And Downey Jr. is so powerful of an actor. He's so good at being the villain. If you've seen Oppenheimer, obviously you've seen him in that villainous role, but he's also just an incredible actor. So I do want to say, before I get into my negative, because I'm personally not in love with this, I'm excited to see Downey Jr. in a role like this because I didn't love that he was stuck as Iron Man for like 12 years. Like, a lot of people only saw him as Iron Man up until Oppenheimer. I feel like he got typecast in a way. I love the dude from, yes, Iron Man obviously, but also Chaplin and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and lots of other things. And I feel like other than Sherlock, he was kind of not doing stuff that was popping off during this Iron Man run. Doolittle didn't do that hot. His movie The Juror only recently got popular. Like, things after Tropic Thunder were largely just Iron Man, and I would like to see him do something in a superhero scale that's malevolent. I do want to see an evil thing, but I wish it was in another universe, honestly. Like, I'd rather see him at DC just because I'd rather it not mess with the continuity. And that's my issue, is I understand the multiversal concept very much. That's kind of my life. I love these stories. I love this idea. But there's no part of the human brain that is going to look at Downey Jr. in a green tunic instead of a red and orange suit, or a red and yellow suit, and see anything but what the indelible mark he left as Iron Man is. There is not going to be like, oh, right, he's Doom now. It's going to be like, okay, he's playing a dark Doom. I mean, he's playing a dark Iron Man. Like, even just now, I'm having trouble navigating it because it's going to seem like evil Iron Man instead of Doom. There's no Doom precedent, and that's not fair to the powerful character of Doctor Doom. I love Doctor Doom. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. Like, he's an absolute powerhouse of a character. He's Doom. He's the bridge between magic and technology. And I would love if he hadn't been cast as Iron Man and done such an incredible job for 15 years, if the actor Robert Downey Jr. was playing him. But in the Marvel Universe, we're gonna see Tony Stark. In a lot of other movies, people still see Tony Stark. I don't think they're gonna keep his mask on. I don't think you cast Downey Jr. to be behind a mask. I don't know which storyline they're gonna go with. There's two basic versions of Doom. One where he is mauled and his face is destroyed, and his pride keeps him from ever showing his face. There's another that I think is more interesting because of the gravity of his ego, and that he's got a slight blemish, and that little bit of imperfection ruins his face for him, and he keeps his face hidden. Both are great, but I do love the idea of just something. And I don't think they're going to keep Downey's face hidden. I mean, if you mangle his face and it's just an actor performing, maybe, but I don't think you cast and pay him over $80 million to hide his face. You don't cast someone that's going to get butts back in seats. Within 24 hours, the announcement of Downey Jr. as Doom was in the top 15 Instagram videos of all time. That's how big this is. This is going to appeal to most people. This is going to be exciting. Like, yeah, Downey's back. We're so excited. I do love the symmetry of phase 1 through 3 ended with Downey Jr. with the Marvel Universe. You know, phase 6 is going to be the end of 4, 5, and 6, and that'll end with Doom as the conclusion of that set of trilogies of phases, and that'll be Downey Jr. All of that's fun. And again, Russos. That's exciting because apparently Downey wouldn't come back unless the Russos were back. The Russo brothers have been fighting to do Secret War since Infinity War. They said they'd only come back for Secret War. I'm so happy for them. I'm just concerned that I don't think this is a showing of confidence. If this was confidence, they wouldn't have announced it, and then we'd watch a movie, and then all of a sudden it's just a reveal that Iron Man's face is under there, that Tony Stark's face is under there, that Downey Jr.'s face is under there, and then that's a cliffhanger, then we'd wonder about it. Or it'd be a reveal mid-movie, and then he'd put it back on, and you'd think, and then he'd reveal at the end of the movie how that occurred. But it feels like it's trying to get the audience back on board in a way that could have been a reveal, and I don't even love the reveal. The moment was awesome in Hall H from what I saw. Like, I'm really happy for all those people, but I mean, like, if it was a confident decision in just casting, I feel like it could have been, we have cast our Doom, keep him in the mask, at some point the mask comes off, it's Downey, you're confused. How? That feels confident. I don't think it's like flailing. I don't think it's, you know, throwing everything away. I don't think it's all the hyper negative things, but I don't think it's any of the hyper positive things either. I think people that are very casually fans of the MCU, I'm stoked for them. I think people that are very casually into these movies are just going to hear Downey's back and get excited. I think as far as the weight of the death of Tony Stark, which means a lot to me, is tricky because I loved the moment we got to see, Johnny Human Torch back in Deadpool and Wolverine. But he played him so differently and he'd already been him. I was a little bit more able to escape that association. Downey's never played anyone else, so I don't have a prior connection. I grew up on Johnny Storm, Chris Evans, so I was able to turn that around. He's also way skinnier. He's older. I could buy that, but I don't know how much I'll be able to buy Iron Man, who just left us, who never played anyone else in Marvel, as this. And I knew that comment was going to come up, like, well, you don't mind that. It was also served as a joke. There's so much gravity to Doom. Doom isn't a joke. The Human Torch thing is funny because he was Cap. Doom isn't funny. Doom should be terrifying. Iron Man's snark won't suit Doom. So I do think Downey can play him. I just wish it wasn't at the cost of sacrificing the weight of the death. All of that being said, I'm very excited to see what they do. I would love to be proven wrong. Please prove me wrong, Russo brothers and Kevin Feige and the team behind all this. Please show me how this is going to be done. And I look forward to it. I'll be there day one. I'll be following this very excitedly. I just wanted to share my honest thoughts that I don't think this is necessarily the move. I would have loved to see a powerhouse actor as Doctor Doom that would make me fear him. And then maybe down the line, there's some sort of one of these comic book precedent stories. Maybe, but even then, I love Downey and I love Marvel, and I just want the sanctity of what they built to be preserved. And if they manage to do that, I cannot wait to be proven wrong. I want that sanctity there. I want that honor there. I want how much I love that character to remain. And I think maybe they'll be able to do it. But as of right now, just a little concerned because of associations and the difference in medium. Comic books are a different medium than movies. When you see an actor, you have your years of association with them. You look in a human being's eyes, you have the memories you associate with that actor. Parasocial relationships are because people think they know actors. Parasocial relationships are because people think they know YouTubers. People come up and they've just met me and I've just met them, but they have 10 years of knowing me because of my opinions. People have 30 years of knowing Downey Jr. They're going to think that's who they think it is. It's not the same as a comic book where it's art. It's not the same as multiversal stuff in books and different mediums where it's just like, well, yeah, that's me directing and that's me acting and that's a whole different thing. Different mediums work differently. We'll see. I, again, would love to be proven wrong. I don't love this, but I do love people getting excited about Marvel again. I do love people reading comics. I do love that I just got to list 6 comic books people might check out. I do love that the hype is back. That's all great news. So excited for excitement, excited to be proven wrong, not yet excited for the announcement. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've read any of those comic books. Highly recommend Infamous Iron Man. Let me know what you thought of Hall H in general. I'm going to try to make a top 25 or whatever announcements out of Marvel's Hall H video. I'll probably do my general San Diego Comic-Con thoughts beyond Marvel in my This Week in Comics video, which is going to be a little late because I'm just starting on that 70 comics I read a week. So bear with me as I catch up after Comic-Con and get my voice back. But all that's coming and some more Deadpool and Wolverine stuff. Thank you for being here, you lovelies. And if you're new to this page, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Cassandra Nova stuff coming soon too. Much love to you guys here in the Koi Pond. I'll see you soon.